Okay, episode 11.
Mm-hmm.
Last week was real good, eh?
Still trying to come down from the hype.
Yeah, last week was really, really good. Big shout out to Karen Rose for his time and his contributions. We really, really appreciate it. Um, Most fun I've had since we've been doing this podcast,
Yeah,
hands down.
same here.
Yeah, definitely. Um, for everyone who didn't see last week's episode, that was live. It's still up on YouTube. Go check it out. Trust me, it was the most fun we've had, and I think it is our best episode to date. So please check it out.
Mm-hmm. So again, we welcome you to yet another episode of Legacy of the King. Right, as Ron said, episode 11. So we would like you guys to again, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Right, and also if you want, you could leave a comment or two, right? And we'll try to respond to them as best as we could, either in the comment section or in another episode, um, where where necessary, where if we can't reply to it in the comment section.
Yeah. If you can't reply, we'll just reply in a forthcoming episode. All
Yes.
right.
I'd also like to let you guys know that again of some more good news
Mm-hmm.
that we are now on the three major podcast platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are on Google Podcasts now, we are on Spotify, and we're also on Apple Podcasts,
Yep.
right?
So if you don't like to watch videos, but you like to listen to podcasts, we're on those platforms as well. So you could put it on and clean your kitchen or whatever,
Or clean the
drive to
car,
work,
or yeah,
whatever,
commute to
whatever
work,
you
etc.
choose to do. Yeah, you can do it now. Yeah.
Right? So let's get into today's episode.
Mm-hmm.
What was the title for today? Men and women don't know how to date.
Lord Father.
Well, we did tell them that this week's episode was going to be another interesting one, huh?
We did say that.
We did say that. So, guys, if you missed last week's episode, again, we did mention it, right? So, yeah. um,
Why you think I chose that title?
I think the reason is because in today's society, there are many misconceptions of dating, right? That's one. Two, you hear so many people, both men and women, complaining or talking about dating because of those same misconceptions that people have, right? Um, and I think that is important to discuss this topic to address and identify those misconceptions. And again, from our perspective, because we're not professionals, just to reiterate, but based on our experiences, to give some feedback or some maybe a little contribution to the situation, or maybe shed some light even, you know. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The reason why I chose it is the first reason is people lack the knowledge of the male female dynamic. At one point, I lacked the knowledge of the male female dynamic. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was a straightforward thing, but there are so many mechanisms. Is a Dating is a very dynamic thing. It's very multifaceted, very complex.
Mm.
And from my experiences in dating, I've realized that people go into dating for the wrong reasons, as I've done in the past. Now, some people think that okay, you start a date, and then eventually you would love that other person so much that eventually you'll get married, as told to us by those nice fairy tales and so on,
Right.
quote unquote nice. But the reality is that's not how it works. And until we become more knowledgeable as a collective of what relationships are for, the true reason for relationships, I don't think we would solve the issues that people have right now. That was the first reason, the knowledge.
Mm.
The next reason, again, is the complaining. People complain a lot about the relationships, about the different aspects of relationships. Like you hear so much about um, infidelity. That's like the most common thing now. Infidelity. You hear about basically dating for convenience
Right. Infidelity when you're already in a relationship.
when you're in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they dating for convenience. So some people would date because the other person has resources,
Right.
something like that, right? But then they get hurt or messed up or whatever. And that's because people tend to date for the wrong reasons. So because
Mm-hmm.
they date for the wrong reasons, obviously it's not going to last. Or even if it does last, it's going to be miserable. So those are really the two reasons why. And I'm honestly fed up of hearing people complain.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm fed up
Yeah.
of it.
There's how many times you hear, okay, and well, in my own experience, I've heard this more from women that women say, well, they went on a date, right, with this guy, and the date was it wasn't nice. It wasn't good. Like the first sort of interaction, they went maybe for dinner or something, or maybe for a movie, and it's like it's not what they were expecting.
Mm.
It's not what they were looking for.
Mm.
And you touched on that just now, right? One is the knowledge, and then two, the reason why you're dating,
Exactly.
right? Now, I'm not saying, ladies, that you all are completely in the wrong, right? But a lot of it could fall on the guys too, right? So it could be, well, not could be, it is both sides.
Mm. And I've heard a lot of guys talk about their experiences with dating as well, when they see someone that they're interested in, they ask them out, and that person is completely disconnected from them.
Hmm.
They go on the date, the person, first things first, the person asking for the most. They want lobster tails, they want shrimp,
Right,
you
right.
understand? But they're on the phone.
Hmm. So you're
They,
sitting
they're
across
answering text messages and you're
from each
sitting
other
across from each,
and you're
yeah,
like
and the
this.
person on the,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then at the end of the date, somebody come and pick them up.
Hmm.
Who's that? Oh, they're my cousin. There's always the cousin. It's always the cousin. They have a lot of cousins.
Yeah, yeah.
So, bottom line, we're going to do our best based on our experiences to give our point of view as to why men and women don't know how to date, um, and to try to see if we could find some solution or begin to find,
Hmm.
because this will take time,
All right.
right? Because
And
it has a lot to do with mindset changes and so on, and a lot of patience.
yeah. So we're seeking to help.
We're trying,
Yeah, yeah.
trying something. So the first thing that I've realized in dating, two things.
Hmm.
One, people don't date with intention, and two, people not honest.
Right. Which, by the way, before you continue, bro, is what again Karen last week's episode, just to recap, also mentioned.
Yeah, if you want to know what he said, you'll need to go and check out the episode. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So as it relates to intention, I'm going to ask you this question: well, feelings, no facts,
Hmm.
because Trinidad do have statistics, right? We don't have those things. So all feelings, no facts. How many people you think date with proper intention?
Well, boy. Um, Let me just use a little a little analogy that we used to say, right? So in the dating pool is a couple, right?
It's
I
a
would say.
puddle in a pothole.
Yeah,
That's what the dating pool is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say out of that is literally a couple of people who date with intention. Literally like a 20-ounce Coca-Cola couple.
Yeah. Yeah. About that. Yeah.
That says a lot,
I,
yeah?
I'll give them a little bit,
A little more?
a little more. I'll give them a little bit of leeway. I'd say out of a out of a silo, a flower silo, I'd give them a 1 kg bag of flowers. That's what I'd give them that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So when we should be making bread for an entire city,
Mm.
making bread for like two families. Because that's how much I'd give them. Right. I think that people need to understand dating is not just about looks. There's a few things, right? But I think we need to stop dating because she's gorgeous,
Oh, because you
or,
have money.
or because I have the list now. I have the list. Don't worry, I'll get into it just now. I have the list. Or dating because he has a 6 pack,
Mm-hmm.
he has abs, or
Or,
she has curly hair,
or they smelling good.
or they're smelling good. They have one Burberry cologne,
Mm-hmm.
or um, she has a fat ass.
All right.
Fatters love that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Well, I want to say something, but this may be controversial, right? Again, but you see that TikTok, how to put it, template. that I'm sure you've seen it that says, I got a fat ass and a big heart, and that must account for something.
Hmm.
That, my friends, is what is being pumped into the impressionable minds of the next generation
It's true.
and society now and the future society to come, right? And that narrative is going to cause a lot of problems.
Okay. So the reasons people date, like the first one I mentioned, looks.
Mhm.
Right? They date for skin complexion and eye color and body type and hair type, hair texture. Then they date for I think I mentioned earlier, resources.
Mhm.
What resources? What are resources? Resources could be money, that people like to call the gold diggers.
Right?
No, they are they are male and female gold diggers. I don't just think that
As female.
it's female. No, granted, they tend to see more on the female side than on the male side.
Mhm.
However, there are male gold diggers too. Property, like, again, on both sides, male and female, they will date because the other person either owns or going to inherit large amounts of property.
Hmm.
Next one is connections. The person has a large and very valuable network, and the other person is trying to get somewhere. They're trying to get to either a socioeconomic status, or in order to further their career, whatever career that they choose. And the last one I have is fame, and this is in terms of resources. Date for fame because that person wants to be famous. They want to be seen on television, or they want to be spoken about. They want to have attention, and they would use the other person to get that attention. Right? And then the the one that most people date for now, but the one that they definitely shouldn't date for, is sex. Too many people date because they had sex with the person, and they went home with them after a party or after the club or something,
Mm.
and they had sex, and the sex was mind blowing, and then they believe that they're in love, and then they start a date, and then they realize that they are nowhere near compatible in all the other areas. So
The list goes on,
no,
or those are the main points.
those are the main points.
Right.
Because a lot of the reasons would be kind of like subdivisions of those things.
Mhm.
But those are the things that I believe people tend to date for right now.
Okay, okay.
On the other side, we have the honesty side. Again, and again, both men and women lie to the other person about their true intentions.
Mhm.
Right? A girl might tell a guy who really she doesn't like, but she knows that the guy likes her, that she wouldn't say it, and she wouldn't say it, but she would use her body language to make the person think that she is serious, just to get things from the person.
Yes, and as we know from our experience, that 99, maybe, yeah, about 99% of communication is more through body language
Yeah,
than verbal.
right. So chances are, if the guy isn't experienced, he will assume. Assumption is the worst thing you could do. Assumption is the worst thing you could do. He would assume that lady, the young lady, is interested in something serious. But really, she's just interested in what she can obtain from the person. Conversely, men will lie about their intention, saying that they are also serious about long-term relationship, but really what it is that they really want is sex,
Mhm.
or in some cases resources or network, right?
Or the combination.
Or the combination. It might be a combination.
Yeah.
So that's the first step, knowing why people get into the things that they get into, right? I don't want to talk too much about infidelity because there are so many videos about infidelity that I am saturated by
Hmm.
it. What what we're trying to do here is to figure out how we could minimize. And how do you minimize that? Firstly, men and women need to understand that your actions have consequences. We've said this in how many episodes in the past. Your actions have consequences. Don't feel that because you are player number one and you have all the girls in the world that you can't get cheated on.
Hmm.
Just because you're the hot girl in Trinidad or in America, the bad bitch. Like that's the new term now. That you can't get cheated on. Trust me, every dog has his day. Every dog has his day. So don't believe that you're immune to this.
Yep.
It can and will happen to you too.
That's a different topic
That's another
to
topic for
get
another day
into.
again. Right? Also, the ladies that think that they have all the time in the world for hot girl summer, have fun with that. Again, your actions have consequences. Don't assume that you're going to use your 20s to have hot girl summer and do all those or whatever it is they do in hot girl summer.
Hmm.
And then when you're 35 and 36, that you're going to have men at your doorstep waiting to marry you.
Correct. I just want to interject at this point with, I think, a post that I've shared this week, right, on Instagram, that says you are free to choose, but you are not free from the consequence of your choice.
It's true. You could do whatever you want, but just be prepared to receive the consequences of the things that you do.
Hmm.
Even the hairs on your head are numbered. So understand. Firstly, you need to be honest with yourself. What is it that you want? Do you want to just have fun, right? Or do you want something serious? If you want to just have fun, my advice to you is don't date. Do not date. Find yourself in places where there are other people that think like you and associate yourself with them. So they don't want to date, you don't want to date, you guys have your fun,
Right.
and then yeah.
So there's no expectation from the
So
other
there's no
person.
expectation from the other person.
Hmm.
Just know that even that choice has consequences.
Of course.
You may not see it now. You may not see it even 5 or 10 years from now, but you will see it.
And again, communication and honesty.
Communication and honesty. If you meet someone that you find attractive, you need to be honest with that person and let them know, listen, I think you're very attractive. Men and women I'm talking to here. I think you're very attractive. However you say it, I don't have to say it like me. I think you're very attractive. However, I am not someone who is looking for committed relationship at this point in my life. I'm just enjoying my life as I see fit. So if you're interested in that, well, okay. But if not, okay. It's not the end of the world,
Hmm.
right? And let the person have the choice. Let them decide what they want to do. If they choose to come along and then they start to want what you said you don't want, well, they at least they would know that you told them, listen, I
Up
am not
front.
interested in that
Yeah, up
up
front.
front. So you have an alibi. But don't go and tell the guy, oh, I think I want to take this further, or tell the girl, you're going to be my wife, and so on. But really, they want to still play the field.
Hmm. Or I'll just add another twist it, because this is something I've seen more of, and based on my own experience, where neither party says anything at all.
Yeah.
Just go along
Mm-hmm.
with the flow.
Yeah. They just whatever.
Yeah.
No. I want to see you. Okay. They meet up. They have sex. Then they have nothing else to talk about. And then they do it again and again.
Hmm.
And then someone, not both of them mutually saying, you know,
Yeah.
what
What are we?
one of them would say, what are we?
Yeah.
After they had sex like 16 times. What are we? And one of the two parties would say, well, we're just hanging out, we're just having fun. The one who asks what are we is the one that is developing feelings.
Hmm.
And the one who says we're having fun is the one that was just
Having fun.
having fun. And if he or she said we're having fun, that chances are he or she is also having fun with other people. So at this point, we need to realize that it is our lack of knowledge on the topic of relationships and our lack of intention when interacting with the opposite sex is what is causing us the problems that we are having.
Mm.
Look at how many stories we've seen of people becoming violent with people because they caught them with the quote unquote significant other.
Hmm.
But the significant other was telling the other person that they were caught with that they were single, or they having problems in their marriage, right? Or me and my man having what is it? We're going through something. That's the one. That's the one. We're going through something.
And then there's also I just needed a little space.
Right, right. That's the other one. Or I think we should have a break. We
A
should take a
break,
break.
yes.
A break. So while you're there on a break,
All
while
right. All right. All right.
while you're on a break, somebody breaking, right? So, and listen, I can laugh at it now, but it happened to me too, right? I can laugh at it now, but yeah, you didn't have the information, you didn't have the knowledge, you didn't have the experience, so it happens.
Hmm.
But that's where the whole, and moving on to the next aspect, dating with intention comes in. You have to know what it is you want. You have to know what you want out of life in general, not even relationships. But what is it? What is it that you want out of life?
Mm-hmm.
And then we could talk about what is it that you want out of relationship, right?
Again, we said this many times before. Many times before.
What do you think is the reason people should date?
People should date. People should date because they want relationship, long-term relationship,
I will go on further. People should date for one reason only: to get married.
marriage. Mm-hmm.
To get married. That is why you should date. You date to get married. You're not dating because you find she's sexy or he's hot or he has a nice car or she looks good in high heels
Hmm.
or she has a nice job and likes to spend money on me. Like firstly, if as a man that's one of the reasons why you're dating a woman, then you're not a man. I'm just putting that out there. Let me just get it out of the way one time. Let's just get it out of the way. If you're dating a woman because she has money, then you're not a man. You're not a
Facts.
man. I said it.
Facts.
If you don't like it, well, sorry, but
But yeah, so long term relationship for me is in terms of marriage,
no.
and but I know a lot
You
of
have to
people, yeah,
specify.
a lot of people don't
We
know
need to
the
specify.
difference.
Yeah, we need to specify.
So
Long-term relationship is not marriage. Don't have these girls in 15-year relationships and you didn't marry them. Please, thank you very much. All
yeah,
20 years gone,
I've heard so many people,
25 years gone.
I know so many people as well that 10 years have passed, right? They have children, right? No ring on finger, right? No intention or commitment, like nothing.
Yeah.
And you're operating like if you're in a marriage
Yeah.
already before.
hmm But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Let's say, God forbid, you, the man, has passed. Anyone could come out of the woodworks and claim that your property is now theirs, and your common law wife is now on the street.
Hmm.
So do you really care about that person? You spent 10 or 15 years of your life with. Do you really care? Right? If you're afraid of commitment, then don't get into no relationship.
Again, that's where the honesty with self
That
comes
is
in.
that is where the honesty with self comes in. If you know you're afraid of commitment, don't get into a relationship. That's simple, straightforward. There's only one reason to date. That is to see. And when I say date, dating does not include sex, by the way. Dating is interacting with someone that you are interested in seeing if they are good for long-term relationship, i.e., marriage.
Compatibility.
Compatibility. Well, yes, compatibility. If they, when you go on that date, because you could tell from the first date, if when you go on that date, there's nothing there, please don't go on a second date. It
Go
not
force a point.
it's not going to the thing that wasn't there not going to not going to appear in the
Appear.
second date.
Correct. And I saw something that said, a post that said, um, red flags don't turn green.
Exactly. Red flags do not turn green. If you see a red flag, and it's very easy to point out the red flags, right? I'll give you one. It's actually my favorite one. You and a young lady or you and a young man decide to go out on a date. You go to a restaurant. That young man, I'll talk to the ladies first. Let me talk to, because we're always talking to the guys. So let's talk to the ladies first. So you and a young man decide to go out on a date, ladies. He does all the right things. Comes with roses, opens your car door, make sure your dress is in, closes it back, comes in, you know. You go to the restaurant. When you get there, he opens your door. He helps you out of the car. When you get to the door of the restaurant, he opens the door for you. You go in. He takes out your your seat, lets you sit down, and he pushes it back in. Like all the gentlemanly things. And the waiter comes or the waitress comes, and he's the most obnoxious person to that waiter or waitress. It mightn't start right away, but at some point it'll happen. The waitress says, or the waiter says good night. He doesn't say it back. He just says, "We're not ready to order yet." "Oh yeah, we're ready to order." Chances are that disrespect, the the obnoxiousness, I don't even know if there's a word, but we'll use it for now. The disrespect, the dishonor, the bad behavior in some cases. Let's say the order was wrong and he starts to shout at the person, very disrespectful. But he's nice to you. He's really nice to you for now. I can put my head on a block that sooner or later that same treatment is going to befall you. You are going to get that treatment when things die down. You come down from the high of being in a relationship, like the new love, the puppy love, puppy love, or the new love, like kind of like the newlywed love. When you come down from that,
The novelty.
the novelty of being in a new relationship, when you come down from that and you get accustomed to one another, chances are he's going to treat you exactly like that. Same thing with the ladies. You meet a young lady, go on a date with her. She's very receptive to the things that you do, very nice to you, and so on. A waiter comes and she's very disrespectful. A waitress comes and she's very disrespectful. You're going to get that soon. That is a red flag. You want to know how someone will treat you? Look at how they treat others. You want to know how someone is going to treat you? Watch how they treat others. Watch how they treat animals. That way you'll know what to expect. If you are privy to that information early, my advice is to run for the hills. Then don't look back.
Yeah.
Learn to date with intention, people. Learn to date with intention. If you know that your reason for dating is to get married, another thing you need to do is know what it is you want your life to be like. Do you want to have uh, a career in business? So, are you a doctor, an aspiring doctor, a medical student? Are you uh, an accountant? Whatever it is, you need to find someone who could understand how that impacts your lifestyle. Do you like to travel? Then you need to be with someone who also likes to travel. Do you like to party? Then you need to be with someone who also likes to do that.
Right.
Because if you love partying and you love to, and you, let's say you love carnival, for those that live in Trinidad and Brazil and wherever that has carnival, up the islands and so on. If you love playing mass, but you meet someone who does not like mass, do not get into a relationship with that person. Why? It's not that they're not a nice person, but that will affect your lifestyle. The fact that you can't share those types of moments that you enjoy with that other person, chances are infidelity may step in. Not guaranteed, but infidelity may step in. My advice to you is to leave rather than be unfaithful.
And if even if infidelity doesn't step in, there'll be a lot of friction.
There'll be a lot of friction, there'll be a lot of misery.
Yeah.
So, you need to be with someone who is of like mind. If you are a homebody, be with someone who's a homebody. If you are, if you like to travel, be with someone who likes to travel. If you are into entrepreneurship, be with someone who is into entrepreneurship or was born into a family of entrepreneurs. Even if they are not an entrepreneur, they would understand because either their mother or their father was an entrepreneur and they understand the hours.
Or somebody who's adventurous as well, like going on hikes, nature
Right.
trails, things like that.
If you're adventurous, if you love going on hikes, then you need to be with someone who loves doing that as well.
Mm.
There has
Again,
there has to be a synergy when you're getting into a relationship. That is what the dating phase is for. Sex should not be part of the dating phase.
mhm, especially number one.
Especially date number one, please do not have sex on the first date. It will not end well. Now, I'm speaking generally here. Of course, there are the anomalies where it works out. But for most people, it doesn't. So don't take part in that lottery.
Yeah, and because well, it blinds. It
Yeah,
tends to
it
blind and obscure
it
things.
obscures your judgment. It definitely obscures your judgment. Please do not have sex on the first date because you don't know everything about the person yet. Do not have sex on the first date. We need to go into these situations firstly with logic. We need to think, this is what I want, then I need to find someone who wants at least 90% of those things, because no one is going to be perfectly for you. No one is going to be 100% for you in terms of the things that they're interested in, the way they see life, the way they want to live life, and so on. There will be some areas where there will need to be compromise. However, if they are whatever are the non-negotiables, you need to date someone who has those non-negotiables as well. You can't be dated like you can't be okay. Let's say someone is an avid churchgoer. Then my advice to you: do not date someone who is not a churchgoer and try to convert them into a churchgoer. It's not going to end well for you. It's going to be difficult. Okay? Stop trying. People, stop trying to fix people.
It's already hard to fix
It's
ourselves.
already hard to fix yourself. What makes you think you can fix someone else? Stop trying to fix people. The only person that can fix someone is them. Let me say that again. The only person that can fix someone is them.
Stop trying to be people's saviors.
Stop trying to save people. J. Cole has a song, right? Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Right. It could work for the guys too. Like you can't save anyone. Stop trying to change people. So that's one of the things that I see a lot of women doing as well. They try to fix guys. You can't fix nobody. If he doesn't want to change, he's not going to, and there's nothing you could do about it. There's things that I would like to say, but I can't say it here, so I'll have to wait till we set up Patreon to do it.
Yes, the
But
same it.
um, stop trying to fix a man. If he didn't change before you were there, he ain't going to change because you begging him to. He has to change because he wants to. Right? Fellas, if you meet a girl and she has a history of being, how to put it? Okay, let me rephrase this one. If you meet a girl and she has a reputation of being in a couple relationships per year, you're not going to be the magician to stop her from doing that. It's not good. They're not going to change it. There's only she could change that. You're not going to be the superhero to stop her from doing that. Okay? I'll say it a third time. Stop trying to save people.
And people, both ladies and guys, in Ron's examples, if those are the things that you see that you do not want, please do not get or force the point of trying to get into a relationship with these people. That will just lead to problems.
And then you'll get hurt, and then you're going to hear the two most cliche phrases that I'm getting fed up of hearing. All men are dogs, all women are hoes. I'm honestly fed up of those two phrases.
Or any alternatives
Or
to
any
those.
alternatives to those. You were not with all men. There's 7 billion people on the planet. Unless you're Captain Marvel, you were not with all of them. You were not with all men, you were not with all women. So you can't make that broad assumption. You can't make that broad claim. If you date with intention, chances are you meeting dog man
No.
or bad girl.
How long many a dog, man?
Yeah, if you date with intention, the chances of you meeting those people will fall. Now, conversely, if you don't want to meet dog man, then you can't be hot girl. You can't want to meet a decent man, but you want to be a hot girl too. You have to pick. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't want to be with a decent man who will provide and so on and so forth, but you want a hot girl summer all into your 60s.
Hmm.
If you want a decent man, understand that there's some things that you have to give up. If you want a decent girl, fellas, you can't be player number one with all the girls and want to be in all. No, you need if you want peace. Some people don't want peace.
They
They want problems.
Always.
Always. But if you want peace, you need to give up some things.
Hmm.
So you have to be, again, these things that we are saying, these are commitments that you are making. So you have to be honest with yourself to determine whether or not this is what you really want. If it's not what you really want, please do not get into that. Don't go there. Don't take nobody out on no date and wine and dine them and then have sex and then someone catches feelings and then someone gets their heart broken and then we have what we have now where men don't trust women, women don't trust men, the men saying women are hoes, the women saying men are dogs. Every now we have uh, a cheating culture
Mm-hmm.
where there's music about there's music that's glorifying unfaithfulness and infidelity.
Hmm. Yeah. Everybody pointing fingers. Everybody playing the blame game.
Yeah,
Everybody have trust issues.
yeah, and no one is trying to solve the problem.
Mhm. Correct.
You want better, do
Do
better,
better.
be better.
And I just want to touch on the point you just made there, bro. Trying to connect it to a point you made earlier about firstly, we need to know what we want in life. In order to know what we want in life, relationships are part of life, right? And again, sacrifice. You mentioned sacrifice, right? If we want anything in life, anything that is good, you need to make sacrifices in order to get it. So this is no different.
Anything that's good and worth having.
Yes.
Because all of the reasons that most people date for now, the looks, resources, sex, they're fleeting.
Hmm.
Looks fade. You could lose money, property, connections, fame. The sex might get not so good.
Yeah.
What is it that you have left? So you'll be moving from person to person for the rest of your life. There'll come a point, more so for the ladies than the guys, but even for the guys, there'll come a point where your value in the market is next to zero.
Mm-hmm. And you'll be desiring of somebody.
You'll be desiring of somebody, but it's too late. And again, this is men and women, but more the ladies, because the ladies have a little time limit, right? But the men have it too. There's a men where I live. They are at that point in life,
Hmm.
but they're still hitting on women. They're still tracking. But man, your race has run. Your race has run. Your spikes dry rot. You can't run no more. Right? Get off the track.
Your track cracking up.
Your track cracking up. You need a new Mondo. There's a track and field reference. Come on, give up.
Hmm.
Right? You wasted your 20s, 30s, 40s, and even 50s. You still tracking, man. In your 60s, you still hitting on women in your 60s, and not only women, but you're hitting
Young.
on young women.
Young.
You're hitting on women in the 20s, in the teens, and you is a big hardback 60 something year old man who never figure out your life, and you still hitting on women.
Yeah. So you're trying to mess up their life too.
You trying to mess up their life too after you mess up yours? Nah, man. No. You're wasting time. For the girls who want a hot girl somewhere into their 40s and then want to settle down. You want to settle down with. Unless you're looking to trap an unassuming young man. Men your age don't want women your age. Again, there are exceptions to the rule. But generally, men in their 40s do not date women in their 40s. They tend to date younger. So, don't go and hot girl somewhere in your 20s, in your 30s, and then look to settle down with someone who's already established and you say that you deserve to have a man with resources and could take care of you. No, you don't. Who tell you deserve anything? We don't deserve anything. We deserve what we work for.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't work for that. You want a man who could take care of you? You need to be a woman that's nurturing. Don't try to outman a man. Advice when you go out, when you go on a date, and uh, a guy asks, okay, so, and again, the question that we hear a lot is, what do you bring to the table? But I'll make it an even better way for men to ask. How do you think you'll be as a wife? And if your answer is, well, I have my own money and I have my own car and I have my own house, men don't care about that.
You start bad.
They already start. We don't care about. If a man is excited about that, chances are he's not a man and he's going to mess you up anyway. So don't lead with that. If you do not have the, if you didn't learn how to be a nurturer, my suggestion: get advice from women who are. If you don't know how to keep a home, and keeping a home, I'm not talking about cleaning and cooking and so on. I'm talking about when you have children. If you don't know how to do that and to keep peace in the home and to create a space where the members of that family can't wait to get to when they leave work or school or whatever, seek advice from women that do. Men, if you don't know how to be a man, you don't know how to provide, you don't know how to be the rock for your family, take advice from men that do. If because in our generation we've seen it a lot, and in the one right after us, there aren't fathers in the home. That doesn't mean all is lost. There are men who are out there that can be a mentor for you in that aspect. If you want to be a good man, seek out good men and learn their principles. And I would have mentioned in the past, learn their principles. Don't try to follow them, follow their principles. Right? We're dropping some good gems out here. So if anybody doesn't uh, take heed and they're still complaining, then I not I ain't doing. Listen, I have to say this, right? If you're complaining about relationships, you get advice from us or anyone else about what to do to not have problems in relationships. You don't take heed and you still complain, do not come back for advice because the advice is already there. There's nothing else to be taught. Right? If you figure that part out and you want more advanced advice, but then you could come back. But don't have the advice to get over the problems, but you still didn't take the advice and you still complain. But then again, some people enjoy misery. Some people love problems always. So, how to date with intention is a summary. How could whoever listens to us or sees this podcast or listens to the podcast, how could they now date with intention? In summary, firstly, I think people should find people who are like minds, who are of like minds. Don't try to change someone. Do not compromise the non negotiables. Compromise the ones that can be.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest with self and the other person.
And in tandem with that, communicate to them
And
about it.
communicate to them. Right? And finally, only date for long term relationship,
For marriage.
for marriage. Don't date for fun. Don't date for sex. Don't date for looks. Don't date for money.
Don't date for fleeting
Don't
things.
date for fleeting things. I'm not saying you go and date someone who's not your type because they like to hike. No. Yes, looks is part of the whole being interested in someone because let's be honest, everyone likes nice things.
Yeah, it's the advertisement package.
Right, but like the nice thing that compatible with you. Don't like the nice thing just because the thing nice.
Again, as I have mentioned in previous episodes, or a previous episode, I should say, the things in nature that are the prettiest are the
And
most
most dangerous.
deadly and dangerous.
Look at the coral snake.
Right here in Trinidad? Yeah.
We don't have it here, but they poison that frog.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The man of war. See the pretty little
The
balloon
Portuguese
thing
man over here.
floating in the sea?
Purple,
Don't touch
pink,
it,
blue.
please.
Yeah.
Please don't touch it. Right? Date with intention, people. Date with intention. Right? Because if you don't, Now, you could not date with intention, but there are consequences.
Of course.
Conversely, dating with intention also has consequences. However, consequences can be both good and bad. So if you date with intention, the chances of you meeting good consequences from dating with intention are higher than if you don't date with intention. I think there's a good introduction into dating with intention.
Hmm.
Right? Anything else we're missing out?
I think so far you covered everything.
All right.
I think so far. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And people, we also have some other co-hosts that will join us today. Join- in case you all heard any noises in the background.
Oh yes, yes, yes. I have a sound engineer. They just build a nest in our garage. So if by chance you would have heard them, well, okay.
And
But
the neighbors.
yeah. So having said that, guys, it was another amazing episode, right?
An insightful episode.
Well, if that's what they get, well, good. That's good.
Hmm.
Um, sorry if I sound irritated. Sorry if I'm sounding irritated, but it's just that we hear the complaints almost every day about relationships and what men do and what women do and what they don't do, and you just kind of get uh in a sense fed up.
Hmm. Facts.
So we just decided, you know what, let's do this one, and hopefully, we could learn something from it. We could
Hmm.
begin to heal, to make some changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, we we just we're not just hearing about the issues and not doing anything about it. We're actually trying to do something about it, trying to give advice, sound advice, things from our own experiences that could possibly help,
Hmm.
with the situation.
Hmm. And also, I must mention as well, dating with intention takes patience,
Mm.
because what it is that you're looking for may not come right away, right? And that's why it's important to leave the sex out of it in the dating phase, right? So it takes patience, but wait it out. Trust me, it will be worth it, right?
And so thanks again, guys, for joining us for yet another episode.
Mm-hmm.
And
Please,
please remember to like, subscribe, and share.
right?
Right, leave a comment or two.
Yep.
And also, again, just remember that we are now on the three main platforms, podcasting platforms. We're on Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts now. So you guys can listen to us
Mm-hmm.
wherever you go,
Right.
even if you're bathing and all.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Um, I must mention that on those platforms, the episodes are a little behind. So if you didn't listen or watch the entire thing in the past, you can go back and get the early episodes. But we are posting as fast as we can, because obviously even the audio needs to be edited and so on. So, but we're posting as fast as we can, so you can get new episodes as often as possible, at least 2 or 3 a week. Okay, I think I
Mhm.
posted 3 this week,
Yeah.
so we're gonna do another. I'm gonna try to do another 3 next week. All right. So, guys, thanks again. It was a good talk, and we hope to see you again next week.
Next week.
Okay,
All right. Take care.
take care.